I call the regular meeting of the Plain Township Board of Trustees for May 14th to order. I'm going to recommend that we dispense with the open formalities, go right to the agenda.
Also second.
Let's go to
Roll call on that.
a roll call.
Roll call. Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
And Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
We're going to go directly to the sheriff's report, and I'm going to turn that over to Mrs. Campbell.
I don't have anything this evening for the sheriff's report itself.
One thing I just want to note with the tournament coming up, and the parking bans we have, if we can be proactive in enforcing that, because I know there's a couple folks over in that diamond allotment have already said, hey.
And we have secured a deputy for the tournament.
That's the only comment I want to make on that.
Mr. Chairman, I have an addition to the agenda.
Oh, go ahead, I apologize.
You just want to add it on when we get done.
Or I can add it on
Add it
my...
when we get to it, that's fine. Does anybody in the audience at this time have anything directly related to the sheriff's department? Okay, if not, we'll close the sheriff's report. Let's go to unfinished business, Campbell.
Thank you. Item number 1 is a resolution to enter into the attached agreement with ME Company to assist with the construction management of the new Schneider Park restroom, and the amount not to exceed $9,500, and to authorize payment from 21A04C.
Also move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, it's a not to exceed. It will be, it could be substantially less than that. It's just dependent on what we need them for. I do strongly believe, as for Joe, also that we do need an inspector for this project. We do have state funding for this project. We do have inspectors for any large projects. We do any road projects, any construction projects. I talked with Stark Parks. They highly recommended having a project inspector. I think it is a good value for the new restroom.
Any further discussion? No. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
That's the end of unfinished business. Brings us, yes, to new business.
Business.
Item number 1 is the renewal of our Ohio Township Association Risk Management Authority, OTARMA Insurance, to accept the OTARMA insurance renewal rates for Plain Township's property, casualty, and vehicle insurance package with a $3 million liability for the period of May 5th, 2013 through May 5th, 2014 in the amount of $79,718.50.
Also move on new business number 1.
Second. Any discussion?
Just as a point of clarification, we did go out and give other quotes
We did.
on this, so.
Okay. No further discussion, roll call, please.
Mr. Hawes?
Yep.
And Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Okay, item number 3 is an addition that I have to the agenda. Item number 2, sorry, is the insurance renewal. Be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to accept the attached proposal with, and I will insert alt care we can discuss, to administer Plain Township's medical insurance program for the period June 1st, 2013 through May 31st, 2014.
Also move.
I'll second. Discussion.
Just as far as discussion, I just want to reinforce what we said during the work session. When we take a look at our current plan as compared to what AllCare will be delivering for 2013 for the defined period, $426,361 savings. Now, when we even compare the 2 best bids on this rebid, there's still $105,000 difference. So, I mean, that's good news for our taxpayers in the township.
The savings is enormous. And I spoke with Steve Cooper today, who promised us a seamless transition. Also talked with him about providing education to our employees on much needed topics such as wellness and prescriptions. and I think it will be a very good transition and a very good working relationship.
Now, the period of time from setting forth with the new plan, with the old plan, is there going to be a specified period?
Well, we have a 12-15 plan, meaning it's like a backdoor lag plan, so our old plan will pick up for an additional 3 months.
Okay.
So 90% of claims will trail for 60 days, so we'll still have an additional 30 days of coverage under our old plan to pick up those claims that lag. So we do have a very good coverage there. It's a 12-15 plan.
For further discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
I would like to add a new business, number 3, Ashley Hirschberger. That's Hershvberger. And it is a resolution to hire Ashley Hirschberger as a clerical secretary on an as-needed basis for administration, effective date May 15, 2013, at a rate of $7.85 per hour with no benefits.
Also move.
Second, discussion.
Ashley, in 2010, did an internship here with us. There may be weeks where we don't utilize her. There may be weeks when we utilize her once a day, or once a week, twice a week. It's just dependent on the flow of work. So it's just on an as-needed basis.
I've already discussed it with his totally fine with it.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes. Thank you, Lisa. We now go to the fiscal officer's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fiscal Officer number 1 is a request for a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to authorize the payment of pending warrants in an amount of $1,235,534.48 is attached here to and made part of the minutes.
So move authority to pay.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 2, that's a request for a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to authorize the payment of the regular payroll in an amount not to exceed $220,000.
So moved.
Second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 3 is a request for a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees to authorize payment of the following medical claims provided by Benefit Services.
Also move on fiscal officer number 3.
I'll second, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 4 is the financial report.
Okay, we'll go to 5.
Fiscal Officer number 5 is a request for a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to authorize the refund as follows for overpayments for emergency medical services requested by Ohio Billing.
So moved.
Second, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 6 is a request for a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to authorize the following transfers.
Also move.
I will second, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 7 is a request for a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to authorize the Board of Trustees and the Fiscal Officer to sign the attached pickup resolution for the bargaining employees.
So moved.
I will second, any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Fiscal Officer number 8 is a request for a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to authorize the Board of Trustees and the Fiscal Officer to sign the attached pickup resolution for non-bargaining employees.
So moved.
Second, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
And that concludes the Fiscal Officer's report.
Thank you. Let's go to the Board, Mrs. Campbell.
Thank you. For item number 1, I would ask if Sheriff Meyer could come forward. We are very excited about this first resolution. I'll present the resolution, and then I'm sure Sheriff Meyer will want to.
Just briefly, Sheriff, I apologize again. Last time you came, I had to cut you off and come back to you. We may have to do it again because we have 6:15 here.
No, don't talk fast because this is very
So
exciting.
we have to come back real quick, we will.
Okay. So I'll go through the resolution and then I'll turn it over when you do the discussion to Sheriff Meyer. So, whereas the Stark County Sheriff is willing to provide the citizens of Plain Township with a substation, where it has become evident that the Stark County Sheriff's Office, by implementing a substation, will better service the needs of Plain Township residents by and through the police service contract entered into on January 1st, 2012. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees that the Stark County Sheriff's Office may utilize space, including the use of the second floor at Fire Station Number 3, located at 2625 25th Street Northwest, Canton, Ohio, 44708, for use as a substation in order to fully serve and protect the residents of Plain Township and Stark County.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Turn it over to the Honorable Sheriff Meyer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. I know we've been talking about this for a little while and working through some of the details. So I'm really excited to be able to get this off the ground. One of the things I talked to this group about early on, about 3 months ago when I first took the position as sheriff, was having some accessibility for your residents to have a substation. And so we looked at some different locations and we decided that Station 3 would be the best location to stand up a substation. And I think this resolution puts us one step closer to making that a reality. So had some folks check out the building and see what was going to meet our needs, and I myself was over there as well. And I think it's going to work out perfectly and certainly accessible to the public in Plain Township, that if they need to get to us to have a place to meet with us, that's a great place to do it.
And I know for the 7 years that I've been here, the township, the Board of Trustees has always wanted a substation, and it just has not been a reality. So on behalf of the board and all of the residents, we can't thank you enough for doing this for our residents. It's just important to be represented, we think, in Plain Township, and if they need to see the sheriff, not to have to drive all the way out there, but to be represented in their own township. So it's something they've always desired.
When I first talked to you about 3 months ago, was to be able to have that accessibility from the Plain Township residents. We'll be able to do that. Our next step will be, obviously, I'm going to probably come to you and see if you have any excess furniture around that we might be able to utilize, because we have to stand that up, and we have already looked at the phone lines. We'll be able to put some phone lines in out there and really get moving on some things. So I'm really excited about it.
Yes, thank you.
As well as I am.
I don't think you get any better value anywhere than for the 1.56 million we spend right now, being a township of our size, to be able to go on off of this.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
And I can't tell you how happy I am with how responsive that you've been to all our questions and ideas. And
Great to work with you. Really is. I'm excited about it. We're going to have an opportunity for the residents to have a location where they can meet with our deputies if they need to meet with them, fill out reports. I think it's a great opportunity for the township. It's a great opportunity for our deputies.
Lisa, just one question. There's any discussion about a possible on this side?
We started with Station 3, and that's something we can look at. Right now we have, fire still here, but eventually they're leaving. We will have some furniture because fire is leaving in September, but I think we do have some excess furniture, but there's always the possibility. I think the goal was to get this up and running. And the location and what it has to offer there is just perfect for the needs.
Well, I thank you, the board, for the partnership in this, and we would not have been able to do this had not you made that place available for us because of our budgetary constraints. But I think it's going to be a win-win for both the township and the sheriff's office.
Oh, absolutely. I think this is a great partnership, like Scott said, that we had. I don't think anybody can get a better value than what we're getting, for the dollar. So
Appreciate it.
all right, roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Yes, we're right on schedule. Okay, we're going to go to the 6:15 PM public hearing for Amendment 552. I'm going to go back to the zoning for that, Benny, and I'll let you pick it up.
Okay, gentlemen, there's a resolution in front of you. Essentially what happened, not quite sure, the notification was not properly advertised for within the 10-day period for the public hearing. Therefore, there's a resolution in front of you to table the public hearing for this evening and move it to the May 28th meeting. This, I don't believe this will have any adverse effect upon our residents, as these were text changes. There was no one specifically waiting to have a zoning amendment change. These were text changes that were recommended by the zoning commission.
Also move.
I'll second, I apologize.
Okay, thank you very much.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes. Okay, we're going to pick up with the regular agenda and go to the fire department administrator, I'm sorry, two. Already
Administrator,
crossed it off.
that's all right, I'll be quick then. Administrator number 2 is a resolution to hire Corey Dehoff as a seasonal maintenance employee for the Parks and Facilities Department, effective May 15th, 2013, at a rate of $8.25 per hour with no benefits.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion?
This brings us up to what? Three? Is it, did we add 2, or does this just bring us up to 2?
To the seasonals,
Yes.
this is 4, I believe.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
And that ends the administrator report.
Thank you, Lisa. Apologize for that. We'll go to the fire department. Chief Chomper.
Item 1 is our monthly report for April, for your review.
Go down. Let me see this report. Hold on 1 second here, Chief. Oh, yeah, it's dropped already. Okay, thank you. I was just looking at the numbers there.
And, Item 2 is a change order for RT Hampton Plumbing for additional work in the amount of $2,598 to install a hot water circulating pump in the living area for the new fire station, and to be taken account from 21A02A.
Also move on fire number 2.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Thank you, Chief. I'll go to the road department report, Mr. Iacino.
Mr. Chairman, item number 1 is the monthly report for April. If you have any questions, I'm glad to answer them.
Vector.
It's
coming up.
It's
I
later
know
on.
it's later on.
It's later on down the agenda.
I'm itching to hear about that. Okay, let's go to number 2.
Item number 2 is a resolution authorizing the posting of temporary no parking signs on the north side of Diamond Street from Middle Branch Avenue to Diamond Park Street, and from Middle Branch from Diamond to Prospect on the west side of the road, to be posted from May 17th and taken down on May 20th.
Also move.
I will second. Discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Item number 2B is to authorize the posting of temporary no parking in the Diamond Park allotment on the list of all those streets, on one side of those streets, to to be posted on May 17th and taken down on May 20th.
So move.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Item number 3 is to authorize the posting of temporary no parking on the north side of Diamond and Middle Branch Avenue for another lacrosse tournament to be posted on May 31st and taken down on June 3rd.
So moved.
Second. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Item number 4 is a resolution authorizing the posting, or it's 3B, excuse me, no parking in the Diamond Park allotment of the streets listed for the second lacrosse tournament to be posted May 31st and taken down June 3rd.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Make sure that we get copies of this to Sheriff's Department so they know that those are,
Yes. Well, of
that these resolutions, so they're enforced.
Okay.
And then if anything needs to be removed or something like that, it'll go through the normal rotation. Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Item number 4 is a resolution to direct the Plain Township fiscal officer to place an advertisement for bid for the Plain Township 2013 paving and road repair project in a newspaper published in Stark County of general circulation in the township on May 30th and June 6th in the repository, with the bids to be received and opened on the day of June 20th at 1:30 p.m.
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Item number 5 is a contract we received from Stark County Regional Planning for the CDBG grant that we received for the Woodward Barge Storm Sewer, totaling $190,895. The board needs to sign these agreement, and the project will probably take place after the Hall of Fame festivities this year. ME Company is working on the plans as we speak.
So,
It says a resolution on that. And Joe, briefly, did you hear anything back on the subject of the ditches? Did you hear anything back on the one on,
Only from what I read in the paper that, and what I was told, we are part of that group of funding that they're doing this year. I didn't get a chance to talk to Gary today. I did call Dave Torrance, and he was in Columbus at a meeting, so I'll meet with them tomorrow. Mark Ford, no problem.
Dave and Gary were all down at the county building on Monday.
Yeah, I discussed some things, and Mr. Geovasis had gone to them and showed them the problem we're having, and they were moving that up on this year's list to take care of.
well, I think Rich Radio also needs to get,
Yeah.
because he really moved that along forward with me with Brent, so. They were very open to the idea when I went in there. When I showed him the pictures, it spoke for itself.
Yeah, self-explanatory.
Okay, go to the next one, let's go to 7.
Okay, item number 6 is the purchase, is a resolution to authorize the purchase and installation of a Vector 2115 back engine replacement for the Vector truck from Murphy Tractor, not to exceed $7,000.
Also move.
A second, discussion?
Joe, do you mind just for the record clarifying what happened essentially?
Yes. Our Vector truck, there are 2 engines. There's the drive engine, and then there's the back engine, which operates all the vacuum and power for the redlining and everything. February, we had a problem, and we called John Deere to come out and look at it. They reset the parameters, and without saying, they reset them the wrong way, and we blew that engine. The head blew on the engine. So since February, we've been in negotiations with John Deere about them replacing this engine that only had 600 hours on it. Even though it was a 5-year-old vehicle, it still only had 600 hours on it. I know Mr. Geovasis has been bugging me to just go get it. Well, the price at the time was $13,000 for the engine and $4,500 to install it. After negotiating all this time, we got that down to a total of $6,200. We made the resolution $7,000 in case there's something little there. So we've saved over $11,000 to replace this engine. The engine has been ordered, it is coming to Canton. We will take our truck down there probably near the end of next week, and they will work on it and install it. At that time, they're gonna give us a 5-year warranty, and we will purchase an additional 5-year warranty for $1,500, because we only have 600 hours for 5 years we've had it. We're gonna get a 2,000-hour warranty or 5 years once it's installed. So I'm hoping to have this truck back by the middle of June.
And you do have arrangements to use in case of an emergency?
Yes, Lake Township has been very generous anytime we needed them, or anytime we need them, until we get ours back, to be able to borrow theirs from us. We've got a list of small things that we've been able to take care of, nothing major at this point.
Roll call.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes. For the record, nice job, Joe, with the negotiating
Thank you.
and your patience. Because that's a pretty important piece of equipment this time of the year.
Yes, I've been very
You know,
impatient
when it
myself,
starts
I just
raining-
haven't showed you that impatience.
If it starts raining this way and these pipes and stuff start getting blocked, I get nervous.
Item number 7 is a resolution to hire Michael Pettit as a summer employee effective date of June 3rd and the ending employment of September 10th at a rate of $8 per hour with no benefits, all pending pre-employment drug and alcohol screening results.
So moved.
Second, roll call, please.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
And I need to add, quick number 8, this Sunday, we're having a 5K run, the Crisis Center run. It's on Snyder Road, the original course that we did 3 or 4 years ago. I've met with the fire department, the sheriff's department, and the lady, Carol Vesley from the Crisis Center. Everything seems to be on board. They're going to pay for our services, and it's going to start at 8 o'clock Sunday morning. We should be out of the way by no later than 10:30 for the amount of runners they have. About 200, 250 they're expecting.
All right.
Just wanted to, in case you guys got any phone calls, you know.
Well, it shouldn't take too long if it's a small group.
Yeah, I doubt if it even takes till 10 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to the zoning report.
Gentlemen, zoning number 1 is the monthly report for April for your review. I think you'll notice that we had 10 new residential permits, and that area seems to be beginning to pick up somewhat for us.
As you say, between Saratoga Hills and Lexington Farms. Lexington Farms and even Wicker Creek.
Wicker Creek.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Danny.
Okay, gentlemen, item number 2 is a resolution before you, be it hereby resolved by the Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to hire Frank J. Bernowski as a part-time zoning and nuisance inspector in the zoning department at a rate of $12 per hour with no benefits, coming out of Fund 13-A-01, not to exceed $1,500, effective May 15th, 2013. And really what I'm looking at there, this is more of a seasonal person. I would expect this individual probably not to be working much later than end of August, middle of September. Our complaints are beginning to pour in, and we have, just as an estimate, if we take in 80 complaints this month, and we're online for that right now, today we passed 41 complaints registered. But 80 nuisance complaints basically means well over 200 site visits. By the time we go out for initial visits, repeat visits, making certain that everything is posted. And once again, it would not bother me at all if we wanted to amend the resolution to put an end date on this work, but things can just pretty much get out of hand at times. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm backing away from anything. We would still be overseeing this, And this person is obviously serving at will type position. I would expect an average of about 30 hours a week.
Benny,
Yes, sir.
the other day when I got your email, it said that you wanted to hire a part-time zoning inspector, and I sent you back a reply saying, based on everything that you outlined tonight and other things, I personally didn't have a issue with hiring an individual. Because I'm sure because with the money, the funds and fees and stuff that we've collected from the skill games and stuff and, you know, your budget with the additional revenue, I'm sure we can handle the additional personnel, and I know he would come in handy, but I'm a little bit surprised by the resolution that you've actually picked out a person to hire, because historically in the zoning office, that's always been a position that the board has interviewed and advertised for. I had no idea that you had an individual already selected. And a couple things, without meeting Frank and seeing who he is and some other things about him, and it not being anything that the board had advertised for, and if there was any other prospects out there for, and Mr. Lino being not present here tonight before we make this type of decision, I'm personally not comfortable with hiring somebody for that position because of the type of position it is, an inspector's position, without at least meeting the person and having the opportunity to interview.
Okay, I understand that. I guess I was my first time through a situation like this, and I
And
had more of the
because it is the first time.
seasonal issue.
This is a little bit different than hiring somebody to mow grass in the parks. This person's actually going to have a lot of personal interaction with our residents. It can be, as you know, a very controversial or a confrontational position. I'm sure you know the person, or you want to recommend it as from the hiring, but I would at least like the opportunity to interview the person and talk it over with Scott and Al about who that individual is going to be before we blindly hire an individual that none of us on the board, I believe, has met at this time.
Okay, I understand.
I mean, and I understand it because you being the first time I go around at this, but this has always been a position that we've interviewed for, and the last person that held the position, Joe, I think it was?
It was years ago, yeah, I know, that was
Joe
before
Bergman.
me, yeah.
He was here for quite a few years, but I would like personally to meet the individual and table it.
Okay, yeah, Mr.
I don't have a problem with hiring
Sure.
somebody, I just have a problem with hiring somebody I've met.
Likewise, I
You
mean,
don't have to move on it.
Yeah.
Sure, there are, you haven't moved on.
So we can just,
No action.
It's just no action.
no action?
Okay, right, yeah. I did include his resume for him. He does have over 25 years' experience as a general foreman with the City of Canton Road and Street Department, serving on the City of Canton Police Auxiliary, so he's well versed in dealing with public, so I'd be more than happy to have him come in at the next meeting.
I think as a follow-up too, just because I know I responded back with initial thoughts based upon what we've done last year, especially in the absence of the zoning director. You know, let's dig a little more, especially with the meeting we've got set.
Sure.
On what's going to go on with land bank involvement and demos, but when we interviewed, we did say, hey, economic development is part of the role. Help us understand what you have in mind
Okay, very good.
there. And then, I know one of the things was essentially the township business list. Shot back up with, yeah, let's just chat about that stuff.
I'd like to talk to you about that too, Denny, because I personally understand that the board, we need to, if we want to move you along in the economic development area and working with the developers and stuff like that, yeah, we gotta get somebody to do the inspections for you. We can't have you.
Yeah, this
Out there
is
spending all that.
just crunch time right here. And it's been a wet spring and their calls are coming in. Okay, that's
Try to
fine.
buy them every day. I try to go like this, but I can't miss them, so. Okay, so we'll just take this off the agenda for further discussion.
Okay, zoning number 3 then is a resolution to set a public hearing on May 28th for amendment number 553. Again, this is a text changes to our zoning resolution. Whereas the Plain Township Zoning Commission conducted a public hearing on zoning amendment 553 on May 8th, 2013. And whereas the Plain Township Zoning Commission is recommending approval with modifications of the proposed amendment, and whereas the Plain Township Zoning Commission is submitting such recommendation along with application text and map pertaining thereto to the Plain Township Board of Trustees within the required 30 days following this public hearing. Now be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to set a public hearing for zoning amendment 553 on May 28, 2013 at 6:15 p.m. at the Plain Township Hall, and to further instruct and authorize the Plain Township fiscal officer to prepare and publish notice of the public hearing in the repository on Saturday, May 18, 2013.
So move.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. And finally, zoning number 4 is a resolution of be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to hire ServPro of Northwest Stark County, 3317 Orion Street, Northwest, North Canton, Ohio, 44720, as a contractor for abatement of public health nuisance at 7395 Rolling Ridge Road Northeast in the amount of $23,400, coming from fund number 01-A-26N.
Also move on zoning 4.
I will second. Discussion.
Who else did we get quotes?
I requested quotes from 3 companies who said they would look at it. This is the only request, or this is the only quote I got back. We sent them discs of what the property looked like, and they were all well aware of it.
And that's probably why they didn't bid.
This was their response. And it's, you know, it's difficult, but they are ready. And I would like to note, this is a township business. They're from the township business. They are operating on Orion Road. And they're ready to begin action as soon as we get everything.
Now, this is going to cover the outlined area that the prosecutor's office said that we, like the well and everything
Yes.
else?
Yes. Yes, the report is attached. It covers the well, rodent, solid waste, pest control, boarding up the windows. It does include taking care of some of the items that will create further damage, such as trimming of the trees that are pushing on the fascia boards, repairing of some limited gutter and downspout work, which will again keep the water from going down into the basement. So and then boarding it up, we're looking at doing some of the.
Well, it would be nice, not, since we have a repository representative here this evening, since this is the one specific house of all the houses, I guess, empty houses in the county, and the one in the township that made the front page of the newspaper that looked like we weren't doing anything to address these issues in the township. It would be nice if the repository did a follow-up article to show the township residents that we do in fact follow up on these issues, and even though they are time-consuming sometimes to get done, that we do in fact address these as we're able.
It took a long time, and once again, going through the complete due process system, we knew it would take a while, but as we stated before, we followed everything correctly, and I feel very confident that what we did, as far as making certain that everyone's rights were protected in this matter, and it's time for us to move forward on it.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
That concludes zoning. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Denny. Let's go to Parks and Facilities, and I'm going to turn that over to Mrs. Campbell.
Thank you. Item number 1 is the monthly report, and I can answer any questions about that.
As far as I'm good. I know there's some collaboration talks with.
That'll be in the next monthly report. This was
Okay.
for April. Yes. Yeah, there's been some very good collaboration, so. Item number 2 is to list the Schneider restroom bids. So you have a resolution that bids are received from the following companies: Stanley Miller, St. Clair Pavlis Cornice, Beaver Excavating, BCMC, Hilscher Clark, Abbott Electric, Schmidt Kaufman, Standard Plumbing, RT Hampton, Feineman, Dorshek, as shown on the attached list.
So move.
We have to do this by resolution.
This isn't a resolution.
That's right, no.
Yeah, and then
That's-
item number 3 is a resolution by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to reject all bids associated with the Schneider Park restroom as the total cost for completing the project exceeds 10% of the engineer's estimate.
So moved.
Second, further discussion?
It actually exceeded by 15%. Joe and myself have been working with Rich LaRocco from ME. We will go out to rebid. It is almost a blessing in one area because we did receive ODNR funding, and there are some reports that need to be filled out. So we will go out rebid. We've already taken care of the engineer's estimate, and that's all we can do at the next meeting. We'll have the resolution to go out to rebid.
And how much further is this going to put it behind?
Actually, we're not behind because we have such a long period to fulfill it. So we'll go out to bid. I mean, and we're still in a good time to do it. So we're really maybe a month, but we have until November of 2015 to complete it. So we're really okay.
Roll call.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
And then item number 4 is just to let the board, make the board aware of a new event that we will be doing. It's a community yard sale. Joyce and I put this together, worked on it together. We decided to do it in August before school starts. It's the first annual yard sale. It'll occur rain or shine at Diamond Community Park because we can do it indoor. And it's a chance for residents to sell household items or clothing at $10 a table for a 10 by 10 booth space. And we think this will be something very good for the communities.
All those proceeds just go right back into the parks.
Right back into the parks. There's no overhead on it.
Now, when you talk about indoor, are you talking about utilizing the soccer surface?
Yes, if it rains, we can utilize the soccer
It's going
surface.
to be outside, but it should.
It'll be outside if it rains. And given the state of the field, there's no reason why tables can't be put on the field. As Scott knows from playing on that.
The field needs placed.
Yes.
Okay.
And that is the end of the Parks and Facilities report.
So it's not going to do any damage?
Far cry.
All right. Point made. Okay, we'll go to the law director.
Yes, sir.
Not silent this
No,
time.
lots to talk about.
Okay.
Not really.
Lots to bark about.
Exactly. You'll recall the last meeting, we had the couple in with the issue with regard to the kennels / barking dogs. Sat down with Denny, we've gone over several things, and I think I'd like to switch gears, and that's why I brought it back up to the board. When we originally looked at it, we thought it didn't really fit with our home rule ordinance. In further looking at it, I don't think it fits very well in zoning. I don't think it fits very well in addressing anything in our noise ordinance. But I do think, based upon an idea that our zoning director came up with, that we could put it nicely under the home rule resolution if you're willing to change it. And essentially, what we would do is change some of the language in the home rule resolution so that it would read that we've got kennels and all kinds of other things outlined in there, and they are exempted from the barking dog statute. But if we were to put a change in there that says that those entities are still exempted, however, if they're located in a residential area, the home rule statute applies to them, then I don't believe they're grandfathered. And I think it solves that problem.
Because they're only allow them in a commercially zoned district.
Well, they could be wherever they want to be.
But the
They just
barking,
would not be able to violate the barking dog
if the
home
dog
rule
has all those
resolution.
barking.
So if they've got 7 dogs, they can't just sit out there and bark morning, noon, and
They have to
night.
take accountability.
They're gonna have to be accountable, and the sheriff's gonna go there and he's gonna issue citations, and the escalated scale kicks in, and, if it goes on and on and on, they're gonna be faced with a stack this high.
That's what you want to move.
I could have it ready next meeting. And that also speeds up our timeline significantly. We're not waiting on going through planning, zoning commission. We don't have to do any of that. So with your permission, that's what I'd like to prepare for you to pass next meeting.
Absolutely.
We got 2 yeas.
All right?
Okay. Go to the communications. Nothing?
No communications this evening.
All right, now comes the portion for public speaks. If anybody at this time would like to speak to the board, they may do so at this time. Just give your name and address for the fiscal officer, even though we know you well.
I'm back. Suzanne Garver, 5915 Linders Circle, Northeast.
Shane, you probably.
Yeah, you can pick it up, right? As I'm going back and forth Grandparents' Day and stuff to school, Worsler School still has a traffic jam, not as bad, but it does a little bit, and I'm thinking, well, I'm slow. It's been years, but parents transport their kids who live within a mile of the school, and I'm at fault here thinking I don't know the development plan for Plain Township. But sidewalks, if we as a community, all the different aspects of the community can work together to help go forward with the ease of kids getting to school, with use of to get from one area of the township to another. You may have discussed this last fall about sidewalks, but I would think Snyder Road would be the perfect place to start it. At Middle Branch going toward Market, you've got Washington Square there. If as a community, it would be taken into consideration and doing just small bits at a time. Wow, I'm so impressed with the parks that we have and how we're developing. So can someone tell me, is that already a consideration?
Mrs. Garver, that you bring up a great point. And there is actually a wonderful grant for sidewalks. And we had proposed with our engineer, Rich LaRocco, bringing it from the schools and all along Schneider. And we have been waiting for a transportation plan, which is essential to apply for this grant from the schools. And they have been unable to give us this transportation plan for over a year. And that is what we have been waiting on and requesting, and Joe has worked with me on this, to apply for this grant for, it's the Safe Kids to School grant. And it lacks the transportation plan, which has to be provided by the school. So it's an idea that our board has addressed, has talked about, is interested in doing, but that's what we're waiting on.
Can a resident or residents be helpful in helping this?
I think airing your
Concerns
concerns
to the
and your
school.
ideas directly to the school. I mean, no different than you come and engage us as your board of trustees. They got a board of education that's, responsible for helping address that. And I'm sure if you get enough of their ears, they'll definitely listen.
We're working on a joint meeting in June that I'm waiting to hear confirmation on from Brett May. Yeah, and I think Joe and I had worked with Tom Brabson to try to get this plan, and they just could not put it together for us. And I'm willing to, ask again and again for it, but it's what was essential for this grant.
Well, I think further off that, as part of when we revised our
Mini master plan.
Our mini master plan, and talking about creating Schneider as our sort of main corridor or hub for the township, because where downtown North Canton is, downtown Canton, the whole 9 yards. You think of Plain Township, I couldn't tell you, or most people couldn't tell you where's the main focal point. So as part of the master plan, that was absolutely discussed, creating that as a corridor. I don't think specific language was incorporated in the master plan for the sidewalks for the sake that.
Well, it was for that reason,
Yeah,
because
for
we
that
knew we needed
reason,
that.
and understanding how it was going to be funded. But I mean, there's legitimate and sound safety concerns
Yes.
over it because of students that are walking on the road. I mean, I've got a 13-year-old niece that goes over to Oakwood Middle School and not exactly comfortable with it.
And I have 16 and 17-year-olds that started at Worcester and went to the middle school and then to the high school, and, you know, and I'm still not comfortable with them walking over there. But I think we even discussed
We even had a cost.
decorative lighting
For lighting.
to go down there
inside
for it
walls.
also, and, you know, you know, like similar to like what the city of North Canton has with their decorative.
Yeah, we did the whole cost estimate for the plan. We were ready to go. We just, and we begged and pleaded and asked, and we had it all, but that transportation plan we could not get.
Okay, thank you.
And, you know, and with my conversation with the superintendent and Kathy Jordan, the fiscal officer of the schools, they did apologize for a delay in some things because of some issues that were pending within the schools, which might be a reason why we haven't got that, I don't know. But like Lisa said, hopefully we're going to have another joint meeting with their school board sometime in June. And, you know, so some of those questions can be asked again by us to them about what's the delay and why haven't we got back the study that we need. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, then we'll close public speaks. And we'll go to the approval of the minutes.
Also move on April 23rd, 2013 meeting minutes.
Second those. Roll call.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
And one thing for a point of order real quickly before I announce the need for an executive session. We didn't mention it during the work session, that Mr. Leno's absence was excused, it was planned. He is on vacation this week. He took his son somewhere for his 21st birthday, and he asked me to make sure that it went on record that where he was at, and I apologize for not doing that at the beginning of the meeting, but I want the record to be clear that Mr. Leno is on vacation, that's the reason why he's absent tonight. There is a need for an executive session, be it hereby resolved by the Plain Township Board of Trustees, Stark County, Ohio, to adjourn to executive session at 6:55 p.m. from this regular meeting of May 14, 2013, as authorized under Ohio Revised Code 121.22G for the purpose and consideration of 3, conference with the law director or other retained counsel concerning pending or imminent important action.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Geovasis?
Yes.